G'day legends, I hope that you're having a fantastic day, and bear with me, I can't sleep. It's 1 AM on a Saturday morning and making a video, but what I wanted to do is so many people in my audience sent me this video and asked what I thought about it. So I thought, well, I've got some time. I'll make a quick reaction to this and talk about what I see, as I think I see it a little bit differently, and I think that I've found some issues with it. Now, this is not a call out at all. Doing this sort of stuff is incredibly difficult, and as well, just the way you can see things can be both correct and incorrect at the same time. So I'm not saying that therefore it's wrong. I'm just saying that I see it differently. Now, it's this video here by Combat Veteran Reacts. Now, could someone let me know if this bloke was in the military? Because I haven't actually seen it mentioned on his channel. But either way, we're going to go over this and have a talk about it. Now, first off, what I'll say is Paul's channel is very pro-Ukrainian. So remember, with any information in the second war going on, so we've got the first war, guys on the front line shooting each other. The second war is the informational war. And, of course, in which side of the political bias of wherever you sit, that you can find certain aspects in favor of your desired outcome. So if you head into something with the idea of what you want the outcome to be, say in a case where you want Russia to fall into an entrapment, then you'll find the reasons then to fit that in. And, of course, this happens massively vice versa on the pro-Russian channels too. So his whole premise of this video, and go and watch the video, he's done a really good job on it. I know it's difficult and takes a long time to make, but the premise is he starts off by saying that on the Avdiivka front down here, that Russia is making no real ground down here over the past few days. Now, what I will say is we had Easter, and then they had, of course, Victory Day, then being the 9th, and then there has been some small grey zone movement over the past few days. But one thing I will say here is we did see a lot of movement, but at the end of the day, the map being used in his video is the Deep State map. What we know is the Deep State map has signed deals with the Ukrainian MOD, and since then, it has been interesting to say the least. So not seeing any movement on this map, well, it depends, because we're seeing movement on different maps, and other maps, even including Ukrainian maps, are not shown on this. So as we can see here on this map, shows different. So we have this, like, I call it the chair paddock down here. We can see further Russian advancement here, as well as up into Ulmansk, which we will talk about, but as well out of Pervomaysky down here too, which is all important of what he's talking about. But his premise is not much has moved here, but that Russia is falling into this trap here, and that these two reservoirs are going to then create a shooting gallery for Russia across from Kharkivka and across here, and saying that Russia will push into here, they'll be caught, and then mentions that they'll have to cross these by boat. I don't know exactly why, but and says it's very hard to cross this. Yeah, of course, in a drone war, crossing any body of water like this is going to be incredibly difficult. But what we know is Russia's tactics, whether Bakhmut, Avdiivka, Mariupol, many other areas, and what we're seeing in areas like Pervomaysky, Krasnoarivka currently, is they like to envelope things. So he's saying that there's going to be a complete push down the middle here. The reason we're probably seeing movement here is due to this open territory. But are they getting drawn into here? Well, I don't believe so, because this map is showing a different path. Now, we have on his video here at 5 minutes 50, we have this.
Because look, they can't cross. Russia's not going to cross this river here. They aren't going to cross.
So, not going to cross this river here in Ulmansk. Well, this hasn't gone well, because we have then this footage has come out on the same day as the release of then this flag here on the 9th of May that was then geolocated to here, which if we can look on his map is right here. So that cross was made there. What I think is more likely on this ground then is if we see by what Russia's other movements were previously on areas, is to try and push to Karlivka. Well, we know that this map is incorrect. It's somewhere in here at Urmansk, and push down these lines of defense, if possible, and envelope in here. Now, this movement in here may not be needed at all. And what we can see, if we just move up a little bit and I get rid of then these, is we can see this movement through here and down here could then envelope this entire area. If you look back at the soldier who I was talking to, who was in Semenivka, talked about this whole area in here, too open, too flat, no one's going to move there, and Ukraine moving back could be in a real issue there too. So I actually see more of an issue if he says, Russia's going to push into here and it's going to be a shooting gallery, no fire support, and get stuck trying to push out of here. I actually see it the opposite way. I actually think with the tactics we typically are seeing Russia employ, like this and enveloping, that we could see Ukraine actually get stuck in here. But again, it just depends at how you then look at all of this. Now, something I think which gets overlooked a lot is the overestimation of how hilly some of the terrain in and around these areas are, and it can be a bit misguiding looking at topographical maps. This area is very, very flat. If we have a look on then Google Maps, and we can see, yes, these reservoirs, of course, it's a body of water, so it dips in, and you can see the tree lines and then the urban centers down here. And the movement down here, of course, much more difficult and slow, but you're not caught out in the middle of areas like this. And this is the exact movement we have seen as well. And as part of larger, this movement gets helped if Russia, because we know they're pushing very hard from Pervomayski to try and close off this near Novelsky and have had success in this direction over the past few days, including what Syriac map is showing. This will then help this movement out of here as well. So again, it's how you see things can add up to a lot. Remember, in the attritional warfare like doctrine, and this is what I believe that Russia is going down the path of, and I believe Ukraine will then go down the same path, is you don't ever want to push too far and be too overextended. You want to stay in your bubble of influence of your support. So your support being your artillery, your electronic warfare, your fire support. What you don't want to do is end up out here somewhere, say 10 kilometers behind where your EW and artillery and everything is sitting, and next thing you're getting smacked by drones and all of this. Is to inch forward, inch by inch by inch, even if there's an opening, not taking that too quickly and then getting cut off. Now, in the early days, we did see that happen multiple times to Russia. But, like it or not, regardless of the side anyone sits on, Russia is fighting significantly better with significantly better tactics than we have seen. And I believe the movement will be more to envelope this rather than push in here and risk that fire support cutoff, and you're going to get funneled directly down into here. So maybe, yes, Ukraine's opening up to try and draw them in, but the tactics of we've seen employed in this exact direction, of course, Avdiivka, same in Pervomayski, same in Krasnohorivka, same happened in Osheretny, so Lvov, Karamik, is more envelopment of these areas. Now, I may have missed some bits and pieces in here. I think this map gives us the best look of this because, of course, this shows us where that geolocated footage was, and I think proves that there's going to be some level of envelopment there. And as well, open ground isn't anyone's friend in this, especially if Ukraine is the side that doesn't have the artillery overmatch or the manpower, just numbers. They will try and stay in urban centers. And of course, this can have, if your eyes are too big and Russian soldiers looking at, let's make this ground in here, could get drawn into that. But I think at this stage in the war, what Russia and Ukraine can't let themselves do is they can't think we're going to wait for the enemy to make a mistake, then pounce, because what we are seeing is actually less and less mistakes made as both countries are getting a hell of a lot of experience from these battles and these wars. And in this direction of what I've seen and what I know about the doctrine of attritional warfare, we're seeing Russia just chip and chip and chip away. Same happened in Osheretny, where everyone thought they're getting drawn in and they're going to get cut off by the neck out here. And we know that this has extended more so across like this, as well as out from this Semenivka front as well. So, look, this isn't meant to be a bash or anything at all. I just wanted to add my 2 cents, and I think it actually adds to his original video of giving maybe a different view on how I see that. But having guys on boats rowing across this, that's never going to happen. And I've given that same idea of trying to go across open bodies of water these days in a drone warfare, like he says, is suicide. It's going to be the exact same down on the Dnieper, and what is going to become a huge problem in the south of Ukraine as well. So, I don't know. Let me know. I could be completely wrong as well. I'm always happy to be absolutely wrong on something, but from past tactics we see, attritional warfare doctrine, as well as where we know then Russia, of course, now on the north side of Urmansk, and this first defensive line, what sits down here, I think we're more likely to see an envelopment rather than a entrapment in here, especially what's going on in the north, which I'll talk about tomorrow, and that there may have to be Ukrainian reserves pulled out of somewhere like this. Legends, look after yourself. Go watch his video, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.